Today I'm going to break down the lighting setup I used for the recent cinematic interview I shot. I'll show you exactly how I place my lights, why I made certain choices, and how it all comes together to create this final look. Let's jump in. All right, so today we're gonna be breaking down this interview right here, this setup, and this is basically the final look that I got. This is for a interview for a show called Uncensored with Dr. Drew, Health Uncensored with Dr. Drew, which airs on the Lifetime channel. You can see episodes also on YouTube. Previous episode are on YouTube, but it airs on Lifetime. Anyways, this was a shoot down in Baltimore at a Express Care facility, and I really like the way this came out. And it's a rather very simple, really just two lights. Let me show you a behind the scenes. Let me find another, kind of give you an idea of the space. So this is basically the space right here. As you can see, we have a lot of windows. Let me see, where's my pointer here? Yeah, so this right here, a lot of sunlight coming in the back. So we basically try to match the light to the outdoors, basically. And, nothing too fancy. As you can see right here, we have a key light, non-light 500B. And I'm using, diffusing that with the Aperture Light Dome 3. And then I'm further diffusing that with this silk right here, just to, make sure she gets a nice and soft, especially, I like, especially when I'm shooting women, make sure their skin looks, nice and soft, kind of giving kind of that beauty look. So, we were able to do that by, again, diffusing the light with the softbox, and then adding a little more diffusion with this silk here, which basically just cuts it down one step. As far as, that's my key light. Nothing on the fill side. With this windows, and there are windows back here also, and I'll show you a behind the scenes video, but there's, all this entire wall is basically windows. So we were getting a fair amount of, not a lot, but some, but you can still see that on this side of her face. Let me pull up an image, a still actually. Okay, let me make this small so you can see. She's getting plenty on this side of her face. You can see we got a nice, this side of the face is nice and bright. And then on this side, we're getting a little bit of contrast, on this side of the face. I like having, always doing my cinematic interview, just having a little contrast on the face so it doesn't look flat. Actually, going back to the video here, you can actually see, this is what it looks like with just the key light. Right, you can see right here, this is before we turned the key light actually. So the key light alone just made a huge difference. And then you can see I'm going to show you the backlight. And now look at the difference that the hair light makes. Let me show you. You can see right there. You can see that you create this nice little halo right there. Nice little line right here. It just, the hairline just makes a big difference. Which I love, the tube lights. I love those just as a hairlight. It just adds a little, just creates a nice separation from the background. And again, going back to the shot, you see that her face is well lit. We got this nice separation here from the background. And it's still, you're getting some contrast on this side of the face. Going back to the behind the scenes, we did, this was a 2-camera shoot. We had, let me see if I think I have a picture of the two cameras. So we had the C500 Mark II was our A cam, and then we have the Canon C80 as our B cam. Now also I added this right here. You can see this is a little negative fill that I added to the shot. Again, I wanted to fight off some of this light coming in through the, even though you could see that the window had a like a nice tint. It was actually diffused a little bit, but still you're getting, you're still getting some light. So to fight that, I added this negative fill, just a flag that was roughly 2.5, 3 feet from the talon. And that really, again, it adds a little contrast. You can see the tube light right here. I like to set my backlight. I like to set my hair light about the same height as the boom mic. And with the Amarons, with the tube light, I like to place them close. Maybe 3.5, 4 feet from the talon. That's gonna give you that nice. Again, you can see it right here. You can see it on. It just gives you enough. You don't need a lot. You just need enough to create a little separation. Give the character a little more depth. To make the interview a little more cinematic. And pretty much, I would say, just it was just a 2-light, 2-light setup. I'll show you. I have a I actually took a behind the scenes video. I'm gonna walk you through this here. Let me lower the volume so you can see we have our 2 cameras. Here you got our key light again with the softbox, the fuse, and then I got right here my negative fill right there. Got my boom mic, got my backlight, got my man here having his coffee. But and that was pretty much it. Just very basic 2-light setup. But a lot of times you don't need you don't need to have, we do it sometimes where we set up 6, 7 lights, but in this particular case, basic setup, 2 lights, and it really it worked out really well, as you can see the on the final shot, on the look of it. Just in my opinion, just a beautiful shot. And this was shot in 1080p. This isn't even 4K. We didn't even shoot on log. This is just XFAVC 1080, and still looks really good. So I think I will be sharing some more breakdowns, showing you how I because I do a lot of these interviews, a lot of cinematic interviews, and I'm going to be documenting basically the behind the scenes process, and just breaking down how how we get that cinematic look. Sometimes again on just 1-2 lights, and sometimes we have big setups. But for this particular one, we just went with those 2 lights. All right, everybody, that's all for today. If you have any comments, put them down below. I always like to hear, what people think, and if you have any comments or any questions, feel free to put them down. I'll always check, and I'll get back to you. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.